code still remains a very special place in my heart. I've been a member for a very long time, since 1977. And some of you were probably very young at that time. I can hardly believe that it's 48 years since, almost half a century. Let's put it in those terms. It seems that time just flies. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of changes, both in education and in code. Um, when I first began, I guess I was at the University of Toronto in the Faculty of Education, wasn't called OISE then. And I had just earned my master's degree in drama, and I kind of assumed that the drama department would just focus on the elements that I had studied, particularly since at the time it was theater arts that was offered in high school in the entire province. It was not drama or dramatic arts, but theater arts. So I just made that assumption that it would be very theater oriented. However, my teachers, David Booth, Chuck Lundy, and Juliana Saxton, who in those days was known as Judy, they really enriched me. They took a different tack, and all of them played significant roles in code. However, it was during my very last practicum with Wayne Fairhead, who was my mentor, that he really pushed code. He nudged me more than anything to join, and it was Wayne above all. And so I did, of course, I joined, but I had already missed the conference in that year. And I think the following year, the conference had been canceled. So it wasn't until the end of the 70s that I went to my first code conference, which turned out to be rather transformative. And I recall the following year convincing my classmate at U of T, Jane Deluzio, to come along to the next conference, especially since it was being held in Guelph, which was her alma mater. And it turned out that the theme was growing together through drama, which ended up being prophetic, because our friendship really exists until today, continues on. And if it weren't for Code, who I thank enormously, and of course for Jane, who knows what would have happened. So code for sure is very meaningful to me. And at all of the schools I taught at, and sometimes I was only there for a brief time, I was always the only drama teacher. There was nobody else in the department to talk to because I was a department of one. And I have to say that it was sometimes a lonely experience. So code became my community. It was like a touchstone for me for further learning. I found like-minded people there, and they all seemed to share my belief in the arts in general, and of course, the profound impact that drama has. So you probably know this, that initially the conferences were held in the spring and they were all at a university. But in 1981, the conferences shifted to, well, it was cottage country, basically, the Bayview Wildwood Resort on Sparrow Lake. And it was there that we held a number of conferences. And it was there that it was Wayne, once again, who suggested that I become a bit more involved in code and that I should perhaps get involved with the conference. However, little did he say that he really meant I should be in charge and be the conference chair. And so I took that on for 2 years and thoroughly enjoyed it. And as often happens, that involvement took me to becoming a vice president and then president for a couple of years, as is the term today, um, and all was fine. I felt after that time I was ready to pass the mantle. There were other people who had great ideas, But I have always remained a fairly active participant, serving on a variety of different committees over the years. And I have to say, I'm so proud of Code eventually incorporating dance into our provincial subject association and continuing to be an important mouthpiece for drama and for dance in both the elementary and in the secondary panels. We all know that, of course, that dance and drama they've always been the poor cousins, and I think that unfortunately they remain it. And it's up to us, not just the people on the executive and the membership board, but all members of Code to really spread the word and to promote the significance of both art forms and to serve as their guides and their guardians. Of course, we have to embrace change, especially in this era of technology. But we should remember that drama and dance engage students in ways that screens cannot. We know they foster face-to-face collaboration and communication. They help to build a trust and community, and creativity, all elements that students, and not just students, all of us need, desperately need in our rather increasingly digital world. So I know I've kind of rambled on. So I'll pack it in here and just say, with great love and respect and heartfelt gratitude for Code, I sincerely thank you for being named an honorary Code member and for being not just a light for me, but for everyone, for so many drama and dance teachers. I know you'll continue on. Thank you.